Hey booktube, I am the Book Mage, welcome back to my channel, and you can probably see by the abysmal mess that is on my bed that this is another big chunky book haul. Honestly, it's not really anywhere near as chunky as some of my other recent hauls. This is maybe like, I don't know, maybe around 30 books-ish, which it does sound like a lot, but recently a lot of my hauls pushed like 50 and 60 books, so this is like a mid-size haul for me. And the vibe for today is casual. No fancy bookshelf backgrounds, we're on my bed. I just want to be comfy. So that's why if the lighting or the setup looks weird, it's a lazy girl day. So I think I have a couple months worth of like subscription books here, plus a few other special editions, and then just a couple regular books thrown in there. Like honestly, at this point the regular books are like the shiny Pokemon of my hauls. Like there's not many of them anymore. I will group them up so that like all the Fairyloot books are together and like all the Broken Binding books are together, so that if there's something you're looking for you can like skim down like the timestamps at the bottom. Otherwise, we're gonna get started, and as always, I start with the regular books because, like, it's just to get them out of the way, really. So the first book in my haul, very appropriate for this time of year, is Queen of the Damned by Anne Rice. This is a book which I so think I already own this. I so think I already own this exact copy, but I can't find it. And I do have the entire Vampire Chronicles like original trilogy bound into like a really nice leather edition, but I've just finished reading the Vampire Lestat, and I thought if I have time to go onto this month instead of like in October, so I got this. Even though I may already own it, potentially. We're at that point where like I'm just not sure. If you don't know what these books are about, the first book is Interview with the Vampire. It's like, everyone's probably heard of it at this point. It's a really, really famous vampire novel. It's pretty much the reason why we have like attractive romanticized vampires. It sort of like reignited the vampire genre, and it is officially my favorite book of all time, and seeing as I just read the sequel, I thought I would pick up the last one, the last installment in this trilogy. Have no idea if I'm going to go on to read any more of Anne Rice's work after this. I think I'll see how I feel, because they're definitely a different vibe, but yeah, first book in the haul. And like, where do I even, am I just going to stack them back on the other side of the stack? I'm going to keep in the gothic horror vein at this point, and I didn't know this existed till really recently, but I picked up the novelization of Crimson Peak, the Guillermo del Toro film. I love this film. It's been years since I saw this, and because it's getting towards like spooky season, I've been making a list of like all the sort of spooky gothic horror films that I like want to watch at this time of year. I like to own certain things like physically, and I was like, why don't I own this film? Like I own a lot of other films like on DVD, and it turned out there was also a book, and I thought, hell yeah, I'm gonna get the book. No idea whether it's going to be good or not. I feel like movie tie-in novelizations aren't always the best, but I'm like, you know, we'll see. You might also notice that this does have a... This is so harsh because I love the vibe of this. Like, look at this cover. I love the vibe, the aesthetic of this film so much. That's my favourite thing about it. It's definitely my favourite thing about it. So like, you would think I would love this, but I just can't abide having a movie poster cover on my shelf. So I will be, if I can, rebinding this into leather. It's very small, but I'm going to make this into a tiny leather-bound hardback edition. Okay, this next one is also... It is a regular edition of a book, but it's extremely sought after at this point. And I think I mentioned it in a previous video. It is this specific paperback edition of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and that is by Susanna Clarke. Can we just admire the cover of this book? And also how thick this is. I could take someone out with this. This is a weapon. What's that TikTok sound where it's like, is it ever really that deep? Like, did we require this much to get through this story? I don't know, because I've not read this yet. I believe this kind of like vaguely follows... I've seen the TV show, but it was a very long time ago. I'm pretty sure this follows two magicians. One is part of like this magician's society, which I think is in York. And I think in the book they meet at my favourite pub in York, in the Shambles, which is honestly chef's kiss. And then I think there's another magician who's way better at magic but is not part of like the magician society and like doesn't play by the rules. And I think is it set against like, it's set against some sort of historical war. Well, anyways, I think I do really want to read this at some point, keyword being at some point. I do have the hardback edition, which I hauled like a little while ago. That was secondhand as well. The thing is, I used to see this book all the time in Waterstones with this specific cover, and I always really liked it, and I thought if I ever get it I'll probably pick this up because it's like paperback, lovely cover. Like I adore this like beautiful, just eerie, gothic. It's great, and it matches my edition of The Song of Achilles, which is one of my favourite books. This is out of print. They stopped printing this, and all the editions you can get now are just, they're so basic, and they're not cute, okay? They're not cute. I don't like them. So I managed to find this, which is like unread, I think. It just has a couple like little black marks on the back. It's so hard to find this edition of this book for under £100. I got this so cheap. I got this for a steal. I did have to import it from America. If you know, you know. Like, if you know how hard it is to get a copy of this book in this edition, if you know, you know. And I think they're technically my only standard editions of books, but I am going to count this one as well, just because it doesn't fit anywhere else. And that is the Waterstones exclusive signed edition of The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is the new, like, updated, tweaked, like 10th anniversary edition. So I think Samantha Shannon has gone back and like, I'm not sure what the changes are, but I think the point was she's a much better writer now, and she wanted to make some changes to her, like, I think this was her debut. It's something to do with like a forbidden kind of magic, I guess, and this main character being part of this like society of, I guess, like hidden magic users. Sounds like my kind of thing. It is YA, so like I'm a little bit wary, but this is also a beautiful edition, so, and it's signed. I did get this before the Broken Binding announced they were doing an edition, so it might be in here if they've posted that out yet. If they haven't, it will be in a future haul. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's my last regular edition of a book. 4, and one of them's signed and one of them's collectible. So at this point I'm going to move on to special editions, which is the entirety of the rest of the haul, special editions and subscription books. So if that's what you're here for, strap in, because I think it's going to be a long one. So the next book in my haul is actually kind of a special one. This is not from any subscription service. This is actually from Wraithmarked, and I backed this through one of their Kickstarter campaigns. And then since then, honestly, I didn't hear anything else. I didn't hear anything else about like when this was going to be sent out. No tracking, no dispatch email, like nothing, no order updates, and it suddenly just arrived one day. And I'm so glad that I was gentle with this package, because I honestly thought it was something from Amazon. So, and that is the special edition of The Sword of Kaigan by N.L. Wang. Can we take a second to appreciate like how gorgeous this cover is? The spine is so shiny, and it has this beautiful artwork on the back as well. Honestly, this book is gorgeous, and it has these amazing silvered edges. I'll show you the outside first, but I've just got a glimpse of like the end papers. This is what it looks like under the dust jacket, and I do read a tiny bit of Japanese, but not this much. Like, I can read the hiragana, I cannot read kanji, so I can't tell you what this quote says. I'm sure it says something great. So what I saw when I opened it, oh my god, was this. Look at this beautiful artwork. Oh my god, we have like a full colour map on the back. I've heard fantastic things about this book as well, so I cannot wait to read it. It says, on a mountainside at the edge of the Kaiganese Empire live the most powerful warriors in the world, superhumans capable of raising the sea and wielding blades of ice. So for hundreds of years they've held the enemies of the Empire at bay. A 14-year-old born into this legendary family has always known that his purpose is to master his family's fighting techniques and defend his homeland. And then a woman called Misaki is determined to be a good housewife and a good mother. She's hid her like warrior past away, but she's starting to feel the fighter in herself clawing its way back to the surface. So when war reaches their family, it's will they have the strength to defend the Empire, or will they tear each other apart before the enemies have even reached their shores? It sounds so good, and I feel like it's rare to get older women in fantasy, whether they're like mothers or wives or whatnot. It tends to be like, I just feel like they're an underutilized like type of character. I've honestly heard nothing but good things about this book. I've heard it's fantastic, I've heard it's really well written, and that the story and the characters are really, really good, and I am excited to read it. So obviously I had to have this, and I wanted to have this lovely, nice, super, it's so, look at it shine. Okay, since that was a Kickstarter book, I feel like it makes sense to open another Kickstarter book, and I wish so much they didn't put my address on both frickin' sides, but it's the Secret Project from Brandon Sanderson. This is book number 3, I think, and annoyingly this got to me like less than a week after I filmed my previous haul, and I was like, god damn it. So this has been sat in a box since whenever the heck I finished filming that. So as always with these, I don't actually like to look into what they are or what they're about. I just kind of like to be surprised when they arrive. Let me open this up and let's be surprised together. I do that as if it's anything other than paper. I can see some colours that I'm loving. This probably isn't going to focus, but we have like a cute little Cosmere character pin, the little spoiler card. We have this very cute sticker, it's like a face with some text. And we also have the bookmark. I love these bookmarks. I love that they look like they're painted with glitter. Okay, and then this is so pretty. Then we have the book. Wow. This is so gorgeous. I know I don't look it, like, I know I'm like real goth bitch right now. I love pink, blue, purple. The sort of like, honestly, like the tacky like 2010s Tumblr Galaxy theme. Like, I still love that colour scheme. I love this. I love the blue. I love the pink. I so can't get over how beautiful this design is. Like, it's so great. And like, this is the back. The spine is also gorgeous. And on the back it says, "A person is more than their experiences, stacked up like stones. Our best moments are the foundations we use to reach for the sky." So this says, "In a city of never-ending night, a young man patrols the streets alone, a canvas and paintbrush his only weapons against the darkness. A world away, a young woman artfully stacks stones, her entire life devoted to her craft and people. Always on the outside looking in, one longs for friendship and acceptance, the other for a respite from the demands of tradition." Oh, and apparently the sticker was a logo for a noodle shop. Definitely one that intrigues me. I always go into these blind. Like, I never look at what's being sent out to me. I know like they send you emails and updates. I just don't read them. So yeah, this was a very nice surprise. Shall we do the Fairyloot? Because I have 2 Fairyloot, so I think that means I can get through them quicker. Don't know what the logic is because I still have to do all the rest, but I'm assuming this is August and September, but it could be July and August. Not sure. Ooh, I see some pink edges. Oh, whoa. The colour scheme, so not my normal thing, actually gorgeous. Like, this is beautiful. I feel like it's too summery for this time of year, because as you can see, I'm very much in my mushroom, autumnal, like, witchy goth phase. But this is absolutely stunning. Like you can just about see it, like the very subtle foil. Look at the sprayed edges. This is beautiful. I have seen like some book discourse on Twitter about like specifically Fairyloot and like whether they like the sprayed edges like stenciled or digital. I think I definitely prefer digital edges, but when they're not a redo of the front cover, if you know what I mean. So I like that this has this cover and then like this different edge, and it's cute. This is a cute little bird. What is this book about? I haven't even said. This is Son of Blood and Ruin, and this is by Marielle Lairs. Right, this is just, look at the foil under here. This is blowing out my exposure, but like, look at how cute this foil is with like this little, I mentioned like a wolf or a jaguar or something. I have no idea, but I really like the design. This is gorgeous. And there is also a reversible dust jacket, which I never display the character art, and also, why would I want to hide this side? This side is gorgeous. The end papers are lovely as well. It's like the same but sunset, so like I really like the landscape. So this says, "The empire of Moctezuma II has long fallen, a city raised on the bones of Tenochtitlan." Am I saying that right? "None dare whisper the names of their gods, or speak the magic that once graced the land, of the witches who hunted as jaguars." I was a jaguar! I'm so good! Ignore that I thought it was a wolf at first. "Until a new name emerges, a curse on the lips of the Spanish, a hero in the hearts of the people, a masked vigilante, a sorceress with a blade. Pantera." Good old Dimebag Daryl. So she's the glittering jewel of a court, promised to the heir of the Spanish throne, a respectable lady. No one suspects they're the same person. She has the magic of her ancestors, and she's nearly invincible. Until an ancient prophecy of destruction threatens and she's forced to decide whether to surrender the mask or her life. And when she discovers the truth of her origins, not even death will stop her. Sounds interesting. Not totally, like, I love this edition. Not totally sure how on board I am to read about. It's because it's set in the real world. I'm just not always the biggest fan of, like, low fantasy books, and it does sound very YA. I think this is another one that might end up going on my... I'll explain this more next year, but if you saw like my unhaul video, I want to do like a kind of like a try a chapter tag with like a lot of the books I get, especially from subscription boxes, because they're so hit and miss. So I feel like this will fit nicely in. It definitely is very different. I love this edition. Like, this is gorgeous. It definitely is something different. I don't think I see a lot of it. Is it Mexican or like South American? I don't see many like South American inspired like fantasy, I guess. It's not something I've seen much of. I think Goldsboro did do one, and I will definitely give it a try. Mainly just because like this is a really gorgeous edition. Like I love how like subtle the foil is. The colours are fantastic. Like the cover for this looks like such, it makes it like so much more of like an adult fantasy book, but the plot is so YA in typical Fairyloot fashion. Like I'm so convinced that Fairyloot do not actually do adult books. I know it says adult subscription, but they're so YA. We have my next Fairyloot, and this must be the August box, which again I don't know what it is. Like I know Fairyloot, they basically make it really obvious I think what's coming out. This is why I don't check my emails. Oh, I'm seeing some very purple pages. Beautiful cover. Like I love the composition. I love the colours. It's gonna be hard to explain, but like this, whatever like this fabric and stuff is, and like I like the artist is clearly very good. I really like this style of artwork and like the foil they've got on the character. My immediate thought is usually when I see this kind of like character artwork, I do think YA. They've actually got like the same thing on like the end papers again. I think this is just like basically a copy of what's on the front here. I think the character gets a bit lost in like this sea of purple. I think it would have been better if it was all like this blue colour, because it's not very like, unless you really look at it, it's kind of hard to parse like what's going on. Like the values are kind of a bit not the best. Like it really works on the front here, not so much on the pages. So I'm not a massive fan of these pages, to be honest. Like I would have honestly liked it if it was just some sort of like abstract design, or if you're going to do the character, don't do the cover. That's my thought anyway. I haven't even said what this is. This is Forged by Blood by Ehigbo Okosun. Honestly, a lovely edition. On the back this says, they took her language, her mother and her home. They hunt her people for the blood magic that sings through them. Now Demi has their prince and no intention of letting him go. There will be blood. Oh, do you know what I said? I fucking love like the blue and purple colour scheme. Just take a second. This is so good. Look how gorgeous, how beautiful this is. It's like mage fire. It's like, I love this. I love this. It's giving me like, you know, like when you pick like your skills in Skyrim, like it's just, oh, this is a beautiful, like, this is the spine, and there's the same like sword foil design on the back. I love this. I love this. Like honestly, this is a beautiful cover, but this is so stunning. I hope I like this so much, because I don't want to get rid of this edition because it looks so freaking good. I hope I love this. So first of all, we have the reversible dust jacket with this artwork that I actually can't see. Actually, I can see it through the other side. Is it like somebody holding something up? Oh, she's holding magic. Makes sense. The end papers has some really lovely character artwork. I actually really like the characters' designs. Oh, and I've just noticed there's like foil on the end papers as well. Different characters on the back. Yeah, this is what I glimpsed. This like amazing map. So this says, Demi only wanted to survive to avoid suspicion of the tyrannical Asias occupying her homeland, to escape the king's brutal genocide of her people, the Oluso, and to live peacefully with her mother while learning to control the blood magic that is her birthright. But survival has given way to vengeance, a betrayal cost her mother's life, and Demi demands payment. So it looks like she's planning to kidnap the prince and bargain him to save her remaining people. She sets out on the hunt with her childhood friend, but the way ahead proves far more dangerous. It's already outlining forbidden romantic attraction as part of the plot. God, we were so close. If she's to claim justice for her mother and her people, Demi will not be able to trust anyone or anything. Not her friend, not her magic, and not even her heart. I know they always lean heavy on the romance. I just wish that it's like, if it's there, it's fine. If the romance is there, it's fine. But please don't make it part of like the core of the plot. The plot should be able to happen like without the romance. At least in the kind of fantasy books that I like. Again, I love this edition. I want to love this because I want to keep this beautiful edition. It's probably another one where I'll have to like give like a try or something. Like I have hope because I like the whole forbidden magic. Did it say like blood magic? That I think is really cool. It's clearly like this African inspired like fantasy, and I really hope it's good. I want to give it every possible chance to be good. I will give this a chance. What next? It's starting to look like Box City up in here, so like, are you Goldsboro? What are you? I think this is Goldsboro, but it does not say Goldsboro on the front, so we're gonna unbox this mystery package together. If you've seen any of my hauls before, you know how I feel about bubble wrap. This is a joke. I mean, I appreciate my books being kept safe. I really do. But I have such a vendetta against bubble wrap specifically right now. There's 2 books. I have 2 books. There's 2 books. Oh! It's not Goldsboro. This is my order from Anderida Books. They do some special editions sometimes, but they also do just like signed copies and like hard to find copies. They get a lot of like, I guess sometimes like sought after special editions of books in. So I picked these up really cheap actually. So I picked up The Boy with the Porcelain Blade, and this is by Den Patrick. I've heard mainly good things about this series. I'm pretty sure it's a series. The cover for this honestly has kind of always intrigued me. It looks like my vibe, and it says Loch Lamora meets Gormenghast. This was £10, which is cheaper than I can get the hardback anywhere else. This is a signed copy. It's 29 out of 100. Why was this £10? Why was this so cheap? It's in perfect condition. I believe it's a first edition. But yeah, this is a signed first edition. 29 out of 100. Numbered signed edition. £10. Of course I was gonna fucking buy this. Magpie hands, like grabby hands. So this says, Lucien de Fontaine has grown up an outsider, one of the Orfano, the deformed of the kingdom of Landfall. He's lonely, tormented by his difference, and a pawn in a political game. The reclusive king and his majordomo rule Landfall from the vast castle of Demesne, but the walls are no barrier to darkness from without or within. Landfall is a harsh world of secrets and rivalries, where whispers are as lethal as blades, where control is fragile and the peace waits to be broken. Lucien will have to rely on more than just his blade to protect the ones he loves. And it's really short as well. I think this is one where I could potentially really love this. 26th of the 2nd, 2014 is when it was signed, so how is this book in such perfect condition? It's nearly 10 years old. Who let me have this for £10? Can I have it now? And I'm very pleased that I do. What was the other book that was in there? Like, what did I order? What was my little treat to myself? Ooh, I don't remember buying these. This is Every Sky, a Grave, and it looks like a sci-fi. How diverse of me. So this is by J. Posey, and I love that the O in their name is like a little eclipsed like moon or sun or planet or something. It's like a little eclipse. That is so cute. Whoever designed this cover, that is so cute. I have a vague recollection of being very intrigued by this. This I'm pretty sure was really cheap. This is also signed, and this is number 200 out of 500. So this says, mankind has spread out and conquered the galaxy by mastering the fundamental language of the universe. With the right training, the right application of words, the truth itself can be rearranged. Language is literally power. I'm gonna love this sci-fi. I hope to God I love this sci-fi. This is shot, I didn't even remember buying this. This is shot way up my list of books I want to read. Because I love anything to do with like language. That's why I was so excited to read Babel, which I was like slightly disappointed by, but I also like, I just like stuff that's to do with language, linguistics, like just language in general, words. I love that. I'm thinking like wizards and like words of power and stuff, maybe even the Dovahkiin, but like a sci-fi. Let me read on. Okay, so this says, peace reigns now, order reigns. If a planet deviates too far from what the authorities plan, an agent is sent out to correct that, to quietly and with great skill end the world. One such agent is Elith, a true believer. But on a clandestine mission to stop an uprising before it can truly begin, Elith comes to realise she hasn't been told the whole truth herself. There's so much she does not know. How can there be people whose truth is different to that of the authorities? Elith's faith in the powers that be is shaken just when she needs it most. While on a mission, a dark and unknown presence makes itself known at the edges of the galaxy, and it cannot be controlled, for nobody knows its name. Is this playing into the whole, like, nobody knows its name and like words of power? Is this like the whole fae thing where like if you tell your name to a fae, they have power over you? Please, please, if this is like super classic like fantasy tropes implanted into a sci-fi, I bet this could be so fucking good. I've literally never heard a single soul talk about this book ever. Every Sky a Grave. I hope this is a hidden gem. When is this from? July 2020. No, there's no reason I should not have heard of this. Like, excuse me, people that I follow for book reviews. Where the fuck is this one? Little spoiler, I'm honestly thinking of doing a big like book reading vlog at some point, probably next year, of every single book that I have never heard a single other person talk about, read, review on their channel. I didn't know this book existed, I guess, until I grabbed it because it was probably really cheap, and it's a signed copy, and clearly this book was made for me, specifically for me. This book was made for me. With that like concept, that plot, yes, I have the potential to fucking love this. I don't think I've ever given a sci-fi a 5 stars. but I feel like this has potential. If you like me, and you like words, and you like fantasy tropes but also sci-fi, this could be fantastic. Maybe I've never heard of it because it's not actually very good, but maybe it is good. I will at some point be trying this and I will let you all know whether it's good. Hold me to that. Completely forgot about those, to be honest. That does happen sometimes when I buy books though. Can I move this so that my background doesn't look absolute ass? Thank you. This is a really small book. This is not a book. I'm fucking dumb. I forgot I ordered this as well. It's not a book. This isn't meant to be in my haul. This is the collector's edition of Crimson Peak, the film. Did I mention earlier that I like remembered it and I wanted to buy it? Also, I thought this would be way bigger. Look how cute this is. And this is not a DVD unboxing, but like, look at this. Grabby hands. This is so cute. Like, it looks like a little book. You know what? This is giving me a second chance to mention the fact that the reason I have the paperback copy of this book is because there are 2 different variations of the hardcover, and they're both signed collector's editions. And one of them retails for like over £100. And it's okay. Like, it looks okay, but I wouldn't pay £100 for it. Like, I know it's because it's got Guillermo del Toro's signature on it, but like, I don't care enough. The other one is like literally fucking $5,000 if you want to buy this fucking special edition signed Crimson Peak movie novelization. The absolute audacity, which is, you know, interesting twist for my book haul. And with that, not to be rude, but can I get some fucking Goldsboro? The 3rd time as a child, this one does actually say Goldsboro on the front, so, is this I think I know what this is. It's still not the August book, but it is a book that I ordered. So this is Fair Rosalind by Natasha Solomons, and I bought this when I was in like such a Shakespeare kind of mood. There were several books that had like Shakespeare references. I'd read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which is obviously a Shakespeare reference, and I'd also been reading If We Were Villains, and then I read Macbeth. And I was just kind of on like a bit of like a Shakespeare mood, especially in like the summer. So I pre-ordered this. I feel like it's too like this is a summer kind of read to me, like late spring into summer. So catch me reading this next year. But the basic plot of this is if Rosalind, who is the girl that Romeo sort of swore he loved before he moved on to Juliet. It's mainly her story, and I think the implication is that Romeo is basically a bit of a fuckboy. Rosalind could have just as easily been the Juliet of the story. So this says that Rosalind breaks off the match with Romeo only for his gaze to turn towards 13-year-old Juliet. And she realises that it's not just Juliet's reputation that's at stake, but her life. It's can she like save things, or is there only one way the story can end? I thought this would be just a really good read, honestly. I quite like classical retellings, especially like I think there are a couple Shakespeare retellings maybe, but this is definitely one that I really wanted to see this explored. I feel like it's a really interesting topic, and I just fucking love Shakespeare. So I hope the prose in here is good as well, because that is the thing that I like about Shakespeare. I am just like a prose girly. Like, you can write pretty much anything and it can be dog shit, but if the prose is good, I will fucking read it. This is why I wanted this edition, because like, look at this, like the roses, it's beautiful. The only thing about this edition of the book, this is like the original cover, and it's this beautiful shade of pink. I'm so tempted to see if I can find anyone that has that cover, and if they'd swap, because like I know I'm like, you know, the goth girly, and this is kind of like, it's raised, I don't know, I just pink and red color scheme. So like, I feel like I want to swap like this kind of colour scheme for like this. Maybe if I meet anyone who has the book and prefers this colour scheme, I'll be like, swap your cover with my cover, swap the dust jackets. I'm gonna have to move all these now because like you can't see, but like I've just been stacking shit on top of other shit, and now the issue is I need the shit at the bottom. Honestly not sure if this is easier or harder on my bed than it is over there. It's definitely comfier though. Okay, so this is another Goldsboro. I do not know what month this is from. Is that better not be printed onto the fucking... We'll get there. This is House... Oh god, you can't even see it. This is House of Marion by J.L. And it says, good girl, bad magic, bury your secret or die for it. I'm not a massive fan of like the... I know Goldsboro don't really do anything for the cover. It's giving me like YA girly. It's giving me like, I don't know. I think it's this specific shade of pink, but why would you, I can't take this off. This is printed on. The sprayed edges though are very pretty. And Goldsboro don't normally do like foils or anything, but I will check. Ooh! Oh! Turns out it's pretty without the dust jacket. look at this. But it says, if this world is made of glass, then I will dance with a hammer in my hand. I just know that quote would have been all over Tumblr, like with the like gothy, like soft pink flowers. Like this is peak soft grunge Tumblr. Tell me I'm wrong. But yeah, this is what the book looks like without the dust jacket. The end papers though, like look how pretty these are. I feel like initially Goldsboro was one of my favourite subscriptions because I feel like their choices tend to be, they tend to run more adult. They do still do YA, and this might actually be YA, I'll find out. But they tend to do a much more varied selection. They do sci-fi and stuff as well, and it tends to be stuff that's more up my alley. However, in terms of the customizations, they usually fall very far behind. They don't really do anything to the cover. They are usually just a sprayed edge and a signature, and that's it. So I like that this one is a bit more like involved in the customization. I honestly don't know if this is just the standard hardback. It could be, for all I know. But either way, it's very pretty. I just wish it was in the fucking middle. So this says, Quell Marion has lived her entire life on the run in order to hide the deadly magic that flows through her veins. I have read this same sentence like 3 fucking times today. I love hidden magic, forbidden magic. Like, oh come on, I'm a Dragon Age girly. Like, have you played Dragon Age 2? I've literally read this has got to be like the 3rd time today that I've read about a girl on the run to hide the deadly magic that flows through her veins. I'm like, it's getting so generic at this point. And it's not the book's fault, because like, if you want to write about that, I'd write about that. I'd like to read about it. But I'm really starting to see that there's definitely some sort of oversaturation of this very specific niche. So she's facing a death sentence for having this magic. When her secret is discovered by a merciless assassin, Quell fears time is running out. There's only one place that can save her, the House of Marion. Run by her estranged grandmother, the school trains their students to enter the Order, a society of magical elites. Quell knows this may be the key to burying her forbidden magic forever. But if her Tushana is discovered, she will be killed. Soon Quell realises that hiding who you are is even harder, especially when she meets the handsome, brooding Jordan. It's just all falling apart, isn't it? And it's not long before she's forced to choose between her true nature and everyone she's grown to love. This could have so been a Fairyloot book. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that this doesn't look and sound like a Fairyloot book. I say that as if I'm not like literally on the subscription. I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go, but I'm not enthused. Subscription boxes hit and miss. Who knows, maybe I'll like it. I will try it. I will give every book that comes into my possession a fair shot. I also just think I'm never going to want to read it, but like, I'll put it on the maybe list. Unless it's set in the real world. If I pick that up and they're using like fucking phones and shit, I'm getting rid of it. Okay, I think this is my last Goldsboro. Either way, it's bubble wrap hell. No, this is just another one that I bought, isn't it? This isn't a subscription, this is another one I bought myself. This is The Pattern of the World by J.T. Greathouse, and I needed this book because, you know when I said I really like the pink and blue colour scheme? Oh, check it out. Check it out. This is so pretty. It's just seriously gorgeous. This is like the 3rd book, I think, in this series. I think this is the final book in the Pact and Pattern series. I can't tell you anything about this because this is, I'm pretty sure, the last book. It's at least book 3. I already had, I think the first one came in their subscription, and I had to have this one because look at the colour. And I think I might really like this series. I can't tell you why. I just know that if I bought the second one, at that point I must have remembered something about the first one that I thought I would like. I don't remember. Cool. I literally can't tell you anything else other than look how cute this cover is. Do you know the worst thing about doing this haul at this time is? I'm starving. I have not eaten all day. Like, it takes me so long to just like build up the energy to sit down and be productive and film something that I forget to eat. So I'm gonna make such a big portion of Marmite cheese on toast after this. This is a tiny book though. Is it not just Crimson Peak again? It looks so cool. What the fuck is it? Oh, I could just see this, but like upside down, and I think I was like, what the fuck is this? We have a naked hardcover. It's very small. I like the design. I did not know we were getting this, but I've definitely heard about this book because I've definitely seen some opinions about like the UK versus the US hardcover of this book. So this says, the only enemy is the sea. And like, it's got this beautiful foiling, and I love this on the back, this like drowning chapel or something. Oh no, it's a weather vane, like a drowning arch or something. I have no idea. Oh, the end papers are very cool. I can't tell you anything about this because they don't give me a synopsis, and I'm too lazy to look it up. I'm getting the vibe that this is an adult book, I think. I think I like it. I just wish it had a cover so that I knew what the heck like I was getting. Is that it? Is that it for the Goldsboro books? Okay. I just like, this is what I'm left with now. It's great if I have some things to sell, but like this is for 3 fucking books. I'm gonna do the Illumicrate books next. And I have 3 of these and then an extra one. So box number 1. Look at this. Is this like Egyptian inspired? I'm not a fan of like the CGI on the cover, but the foils, yes. This is a gorgeous design. And I really like the sort of geometric sprayed edges. So this is the Jasad Air by Sarah Hashem. Ooh, and the book is gold. I'm with it. It looks, honestly, this looks beige on screen. And honestly, I would like it beige as well. Yeah, but it's like a subtly, very slightly glittery, shiny kind of gold. Mine has suffered like some sort of damage, but I will try and like, oh, it's very tough actually. I'll try and bend that back into shape, but I'm sure it's fine. I know outlawed magic, but this says 10 years ago the kingdom of Jasad burned. Its magic was outlawed, its royal family murdered down to the last child. At least that's what Sylvia wants people to believe. The lost heir of Jasad, Sylvia never wants to be found. She can't think about how Nizal's armies destroyed her kingdom and continue to hunt its people. Not if she wants to stay alive. But when Arin, the Nizal heir, tracks a group of Jasadi rebels to her village, staying one step ahead of death gets trickier. In a moment of anger, she reveals her magic and captures Arin's attention. Now to save her life, she has to make a deal with her greatest enemy. If she helps him lure the rebels, Sylvia will escape persecution. A deadly game begins. Sylvia can't let Arin discover her identity, even as hatred shifts into something more. But her secret isn't as hidden as she thinks. She'll have to choose between the life she wants and the one she left behind. I swear this is like the billionth book today. Outlawed magic, girl who has the forbidden magic, enemies to lovers romance. Is it just, was there like a writing class going on where everyone had to write the same thing and they're all just coming out now? I know there are trends, but this is getting ridiculous. Still, I think this might be the one that I'm most likely to pick up of the ones that we looked at. More Illumicrate. Let's see what else we've got. Again, I have no idea which order these are coming out in. Ooh, okay, I can see some like teal kind of pages. Another copy of A Study in Drowning. I have to say, I don't like this cover. It's so hard to see. It's, again, the values. Make this background darker. Because why is it this really faded grey? It looks like there's been like a printing issue. I just feel like it should have been darker. It looks very faded. And it's like, if I hold it up over here, it's like, it's too close in value to like the text and the design that it's kind of hard to read until like the light hits the foil. So I'm not a fan of the colour change. I kind of like the design. Here's the thing though, I have, what, 2 copies of this book now. I prefer this one so far, but we'll see what else this has got under the dust jacket. 2 copies of this book, and none of them are using the American cover, and this is like the one time that I think that the American YA-ass character on front cover actually looks better than this, because I do not like the UK cover. We have got a dust jacket now, so I can at least tell you what it's about. So first of all, these are the edges. So I do really like the under the dust jacket design, which is this sort of, it looks like an old like sketchbook. There's like some architecture stuff here, like it's got little stickers and coffee stains and things. I like that. I don't think it matches with these pages very well. I would have honestly liked if these pages matched this and were just like a deep, like rich beigey parchment colour or something. That would be cool. So we have some end paper artwork, and what is she reading? She's reading Anne Harrod. I am noticing this guy is just in straight up modern dress, so I'm already feeling like low fantasy. Oh, and it's the same on the back. And if you're going to flip your end paper art, don't put text on your end paper art, because now the text on her book is backwards. I know it doesn't need to be, but it's like, it's just like a little thing. What is this even about now that I have 2 copies and I already know that I don't want either? Why is it like a fucking essay? I miss the days when a synopsis was literally just a synopsis. I do not need your life story, what is this? Effie has always believed in fairy tales. She's been haunted by visions of the Fairy King, found solace only in the pages of Anne Harrod, an epic about a mortal girl who falls in love with the Fairy King and then destroys him. She's at architecture college. When the family announces a contest to redesign Arthur's house, she feels like this is her destiny. But Wraith Manor is an impossible task, a musty, decrepit estate on the brink of crumbling into a hungry sea. When Effie arrives, she finds she isn't the only one who's made a temporary home there. Because apparently the love interest is also there. Also, a really quick aside, is Wraith not like a strong longing for home? It's giving Remus Lupin level of naming things, if I'm totally honest. So yeah, as these two students investigate the reclusive author's legacy, piecing together clues about his books and his diaries, they discover the house's foundation isn't the only thing that can be trusted. So they're investigating the author's legacy and also the house. I love the idea of having architecture. I love the whole, I don't know, a house that might not line up to its plans. Fae stuff, potentially, but modern day. Again, this is another one that feels like it should have been a Fairyloot book, just because the vibes are so just middling fantasy giving way to romance. That is the vibe I get. I'll give it a go, potentially. I have a feeling I might not be holding on to either one of these. I just, 2 copies and we couldn't get any of them with this as the design. I know I'm in the UK, but like, just do something different. I know somebody else will love that book, but like, I just have a feeling it's not for me. All the books this month's so tiny, like this is so small. This is very dusty. This is Zara, Guardians of Dawn by S.J. Jones. I have never heard of this. It's got to be YA, it's definitely YA. Look at the edges though, like those are gorgeous. These are the end papers. Are you kidding? Early 2000s manga. Oh my god, look at it. Look at this. Stunning is this. How sensational is this? If any of you collected manga in like the early 2000s, you know exactly this vibe. What does this remind me of? I'm so in 2 minds because now I really want to keep this because like this is so good. This is so cool. This is so unique and like I love this. And I know I have loads of manga that does look like this, but this is on a hardcover and like with the sprayed edges. Yes. Okay, let me once again. Your synopsis cannot be a page. Like, cut it down. What does this say? So, oh my god, I'm back in the building. Magic is forbidden throughout the Morning Realms. Magicians are called abominations and blamed for the plague of monsters that razed the land 20 years earlier. I act like I don't eat this trope up every time I see it. I have at least like 50 books that all have like the forbidden magic trope. It's just the fact that every single box I've gotten out of a sub seems to, just in this specific haul, all have girl characters with forbidden magic. And I know I love it every time people do it, but like, it's I feel like I'm being pranked. So apparently the monsters are re-emerging. She meets a easily flustered young man named Han, who brings her into contact with a secret magical resistance organisation called the Guardians of Dawn. There's a mysterious plague turning the magicians of Zanhai into monsters. Only magicians are susceptible, and Zara, Han and their friends must find a way to defeat the plague before they are transformed. I feel like it's very generic. Again, it's definitely YA, but just for the sake of how beautiful this edition is, it will be one that I give a go. I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I feel like it's interesting enough, it's different enough with like a whole plague of monsters transformation. It might have an edge, or at least enough to kind of set it apart, because it has every book I've gotten in this sub like just being forbidden magical girl stuff. Okay, so that was the last Illumicrate book. However, I did, quite a while ago now actually, receive the first of the Evernight subscriptions, but this is a horror themed subscription and so I had to get it. Nobody talked to me about how many subscriptions I technically now have. Ooh, okay. There should be one coming out next month, and goodness knows when I will get to it, or when I will unbox it, because I'm filming this at the end of September, so great timing. This is cool. I've not even taken it out yet, but like this looks so... I love this edition already. I don't even know what the book's about, but like the actual physical edition. Okay, I'm so hype. Okay, so this is Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Mexican Gothic, I think is her other book. I definitely don't have anything by this author, but I have heard of her. Also, this, so cool. I'm getting like classic like horror slasher type movies. It says, follow me into the night, and can we look at the sprayed edges, please? I love this design. The end papers! Look at this end paper. Look at this big beastie. What is that? It's big. What is this? I'm really hyped. This looks so bleak and grim and creepy and I love it. I need to... No, because I'm so sorry. Look, this is one of my favourite books that I own. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. For the first book in the subscription, this is now one of my favourite physical editions of a book that I own. It's Norse? Is this Norse inspired? It was made for me. It was made for me. Like, look at this. It's Norse inspired. Please tell me it's Norse inspired. I don't even know anything about this yet, but this says the House of Infinite Wisdom. I'm loving this, like the stars, the runes. I love everything about this. What is this about? Either way, I'm keeping this book forever. I don't care if I end up giving this 1 star for the story. This is the most beautiful edition. I love it, I love it, I love it. And it's horror? What is this about? You'll see where I'm laughing. This says, Montserrat has always been overlooked. They went to Montserrat in Fourth Wing, which I'm pretty sure is in the Caribbean, so great world building. Yeah, this says Montserrat has always been overlooked. She's a talented sound editor, but she's left out of the boys club running the film industry in 90s Mexico City, and she's all but invisible to her best friend Tristan, a charming if faded soap opera star, even though she's been in love with him since childhood. Then Tristan discovers his new neighbour is the cult horror director Abel Urueta, and the legendary auteur claims he has a way to change their lives, even if his tales of Nazi occultists imbuing magic into highly volatile silver nitrate stock sounds like sheer fantasy. Okay, years ago he began work on the film of a lifetime, but the magic film was never finished, which is why Urueta swears his career vanished overnight. He is cursed. Now the director wants Montserrat and Tristan to help him shoot the missing scenes and lift the curse, but as the three work together, Montserrat begins to notice a dark presence following her. The closer they come to unraveling the mystery of the film and the obscure occultist who once run Mexico City, the closer Montserrat and Tristan come to learning that sorcerers and magic are not only the stuff of movies. Can I fit this into my October TBR? Both of these. This looks so freaking cool, but also this. I'm so into this. I cannot believe that this is what was underneath this cover. I want every single book cover I ever own to look exactly like this. Like, this is my exact, like, dream kind of book cover design. When foils look like that, I'm so into it. Like, I know I have, like, a type when it comes to books. I'm nothing if not predictable. So hyped for this. This is like what a start to the book box, honestly. I'm obviously not like generally a fan of this kind of design. Like, did I even show it? Did I even show this close enough to like let you see what this kind of like even looks like the textures? This is so great. Like, this is exactly what I want out of a book box, and to say that this came out of a horror themed book box, and yet this is what I want a fantasy book to look like, apart from obviously like the horror cover. The rest of this book, Under the Dust Jacket, is exactly what I want like all my fantasies to look like. So I'm hype as hell for this. Honestly, that could not have gone better. I also have another one of my less frequent subscriptions. This is Inkstone Books. This is the 3rd book we've gotten from them so far. The last one was one of my most anticipated books, which is what I had hoped for when I signed up for this subscription. So this is adult sci-fi and fantasy. I'm gonna drown in bubble wrap, I swear. Some lovely mossy kind of green. Again, I like the design of this one. This is the Water Outlaws by S.L. Huang. It's kind of hard to see because of like the mylar sleeve, but this is a lovely cover. I don't think they do anything to the covers to change them, so I think this is just the standard cover. This is what the sprayed edges look like. Is there anything under the dust jacket? No, a smudge. I don't know if you can see. I've tried to like zoom in here, but yeah, there's quite a lot of dirt around here. I don't know what that's from. So this says, in the Jianghu, you break the law to make it your own. Lin Chong is an expert arms instructor training the Emperor's soldiers until a powerful man with a vendetta rips that carefully built life away. Disgraced, tattooed as a criminal, Lin Chong is recruited by the bandits of Liangshan. Mountain outlaws on the margins of society, the Liangshan bandits proclaim a belief in justice for women, for the downtrodden, for progressive thinkers a corrupt empire would imprison or destroy. Together they could bring down an empire. So I'm pretty sure this is an adult fantasy. It definitely sounds interesting. Does it just sound more interesting and intriguing to me because of the fact that everything else I've had has been quite samey this haul? Is that like a possibility? Maybe, but I think I would be interested in this either way. So another nice cute little special edition to add to my ever-growing collection. And from there, I think all the books that remain are just the broken binding. Is this from their regular shop? Did I order anything from the regular shop? Because this is what their regular books tend to come out looking like. Okay, technically this should have been at the start of the haul with my regular editions. I think this is a signed copy. Yes, it is, and it even says The Hunt is On. This is The Hunters by David Ragg. The reason I got this in a signed copy is because I have 2 of David Ragg's other books. Those are limited edition hardcovers that you couldn't get anywhere else, and I think they were either from Goldsboro or Anderida Books. I think they were Goldsboro, but I'm not entirely sure. So I wanted to pick this up in a signed hardcover to match those books. This should have been with the regular editions at the front, but it came in a broken binding box, so like, how was I to know? How do I know what I've ordered? So on the back this says, she'd always dreaded an unravelling, a day of reckoning, the avatar of her past coming to claim her back. Rhi is a woman with a violent past, one she thought she'd left behind. After years of wandering, she and her niece Giovanni have finally built a small life for themselves at the edge of the known world. But sometimes the past refuses to stay buried and Rhys is about to catch up with her. This time there will be blood. For the land is in turmoil and professional killers have arrived in their town looking for a white-haired woman and a child, setting off a desperate chase through the deserts, mountains and mines. Rhi will have to discover her former self if she's to keep them both alive. Is escape fantasy a thing? I'm guessing kind of maybe like a bit of a cat and mouse sort of situation. The cast of characters on the front looks pretty interesting. It's definitely a different concept. At least it's not, I mean it could totally turn into it, but so far it isn't girl with magical forbidden powers in a romance. I have a feeling that some of these are subscription books as well, and like, I do not know the order these are going to come out in, so I will try my best to like open them in order. Okay, I have a book and I'm just going to open the other two. They all just have the same sticker. Oh, the bookmark is different. Okay, so this one is book one. So this is The Wolf of Oren by K.S. Veloso. First off, these are the sprayed edges. I love them. This is such a beautiful foil design. Like, can I very carefully like kind of hold this open? These are the end papers as well. So this is a series that I've been very interested in picking up for quite a long time, but I've kind of always given it a miss, mainly because I have so much other stuff on my shelves, and I think this may have only ever been out in paperback. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that the reason I probably didn't buy this was because there was no rush to buy a hardback that would then go out of print, because there just was not a hardback in the first place. Broken Binding never miss when it comes to their series picks. There has not been a single series pick that I've not been so freaking hyped to get. The quotation at the top says, "They called me the bitch queen, the she-wolf, because I murdered a man and exiled my king the night before they crowned me." So the synopsis says, born under the crumbling towers of her kingdom, Queen Taliesin was the shining jewel and legacy of the bloody war of the wolves. It nearly tore her nation apart, but her arranged marriage to the son of a rival clan heralds peace. However, he suddenly disappears before their reign can begin, and the kingdom is fractured beyond repair. Years later, he sends a mysterious invitation to meet. Taliesin journeys across the sea in hopes of reconciling their past. An assassination attempt quickly dashes those dreams. Stranded in a land she does not know, with no idea whom she can trust, Taliesin will have to embrace her namesake. A wolf of Oren Yarrow is not tamed. Honestly, that sounds so interesting. Hopefully gonna be something that I love. Like, I can see myself really loving this, and I now have it in this fantastic, beautiful Broken Binding special edition. So let's see what books 2 and 3 look like. So this is the Icosar Falcon. I believe this is book 2. These are the sprayed edges. Let's look under the dust jacket. I kind of thought it might be blue, but like this beautiful, I love this colour scheme. Like the green and the bronze, it's so like foresty and autumnal. Like, this is a slightly chunkier book, so like this is gonna be hard to do, but can you guys see like the beautiful like wraparound design? Like, look how bloody shiny. And it's hard to see because of the light, but like these are the end papers. God damn it. Okay, I guess I don't have book 3. I do this every time. I always get the first 2 books in the series, and then the third book always comes in the next haul. I mean, so far this is what they look like together. Alas, I do not appear to have book 3. I guess I'm just doing this haul slightly too early. Probably like last time, probably like every time. So this is not going to be the third book in that series, but it is going to be something else very special that I'm so hyped about. This is the book where when I went to, if you follow me on Twitter, when I went to download, I was so paranoid I was not going to be able to get this book, because the day that it came out, I was going to be in a tent, in a field, in the middle of Download Festival. The fact that I have this, the fact that I could get it, I felt so bad as well, because like I tweeted about how hard it was going to be for me to get a copy of this book, and the author came and like started apologising to me on Twitter. I was like, my dude, my guy, don't worry about it, it's not your fault. I hadn't even tagged him in it. To just somehow find my tweet and take it upon himself to be like, I'm so sorry, you're gonna have a hard time getting this. He was so sincere. So the book is Illborn by Daniel T. Jackson, and like this cover, I'm so sorry for the mylar making this like hard to see, but like look at the design of this cover. Like, also like the gold shiny like gilded sprayed edges, but then I'm gonna have to be so careful because like, oh, it's cloth bound. So this is beautiful, shiny, foiled, cloth bound. Oh my god, it's to die for. I am obsessed. I am obsessed. So the quote on the back says, "How does the opportunity ever arise for one person to alter the destiny of a world?" Let me refresh myself on the synopsis. I know I did read it before I bought the book. I do that sometimes. So the synopsis says, "Long ago, the Lord Iduel emerged from the deserts of the Holy Land, possessed with divine powers. He used these to forcibly unite the people of Angol before his ascension to heaven. Over 800 years later, in a medieval world which is threatened by war and religious persecution, 4 young men and women begin to develop supernatural abilities. These forbidden and secret powers will shatter the lives that they have known and will force each of them to confront the mystery of the ethereal gate which haunts their dreams. What does the dream mean, and how is it connected to their burgeoning abilities? As they experience conflict, love, lust and betrayal in lands which are being overtaken by war, they must try to stay ahead of and to survive the sinister forces which are now pursuing them, for they are being hunted." It's everything. It's everything. Yeah, this is one of the books that I've been most excited to get from the Broken Binding. I think just because of like how gorgeous this edition is. I love, like, there's not even text on the front cover. Like, it's just gorgeous. It's just so pretty. Okay. And my last box here does contain more Broken Binding. So I'm not entirely sure what order these are going to come out in. So the first one is Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. Again, this is the gorgeous, stunning Broken Binding edition. These are so crisp and so detailed. Like, and it runs around like onto the top and bottom as well, under the dust jacket. This is so, I love this. I love this. And the end papers actually have a map. I almost forgot the quote on the spine. The quote on the spine says, "Mercy and cowardice are the same." So this one is The Heroes, also by Joe Abercrombie. I'm loving like the map design on the covers for this one. Like the sprayed edges are just, they're so good. So the quote on this one says, "In war there are no straight lines," and this is the foil on the front. I love it. And these are what the end papers look like. And then lastly, we have Red Country. Also, unsurprisingly, by Joe Abercrombie. I love this cover. I love that, like, I just like having it in hardback. The sprayed edges, I'll put them all like in a line together or something. The foils on these, again, so good. And these are the end papers, and the quotation on this one says, "Old milk turns sour, but old scores just get sweeter." And oh, this is so satisfying. When you put them together, you get like this. I'm trying to like line it up. Yep. Look at them. Ah. Yeah, so this is the, I think it's called the Great Leveler trilogy, and it follows after the original First Law trilogy, still set in the world of like the universe of the First Law. And I think it's all set before the Age of Madness series, which is like the next generation or like a couple generations later, I'm not entirely sure. If you've been around my channel, you'll know that I've been reading the First Law for a little while, and I finally read Last Argument of Kings like a couple months ago. Loved it. 5 stars. And I think that book just elevated the previous books in the series for me, so I am now very excited to go on and like continue with this series. I highly recommend them, but I cannot give you a synopsis other than they're wonderfully realistically grimdark, and I like them and I think you should read them. So yeah, I'm really thrilled to have these because they will go with the hardback like First Law trilogy that I already have. I'm wondering if they will do Sharp Ends, which I think is a collection of short stories, and I'm hoping that they will then also go on to do the Age of Madness trilogy, which is, I've not even thought about reading those yet because I want to read this series first. Yeah, so that was my last unboxing. So thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with me through this giant haul. And I say giant because the boxes are like, they're up to here, 3 feet off the ground. I have 3 feet of cardboard rubbish to put away, so yay me! As always, as you can see by these many books stacked behind me, if you did make it this far in the video, leave me a little book stack emoji, because there just literally is not anything more appropriate. Yeah, and if you did make it this far, thank you for sticking this out. I have no idea what I'm going to do like the second this ends, because I have to get these onto a shelf, which is already overfull, and I have to wade through 3 feet of bubble wrap and boxes to get to it, so that's going to be interesting. Also, I would like to eat at some point today. But yeah, that has been it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like check out the rest of my channel if you like unreasonably long hauls of like so many special editions of sci-fi and fantasy books, because that's kind of my thing. And maybe hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!